Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're joining on YouTube and if you're on Facebook, welcome too. Thank you for being here. We've got quite, well, what feels like to me actually a bit of a taboo topic today, but that might be just my stuff. And I think subconsciously, maybe I've been stalling on doing this because it's such a deep topic, and I really want to provide an opening to sort of just help all of us to let go of shame. Because from my understanding, shame is at the heart of everything. It's at the heart of most mental illness, bodily illnesses, you name it. But not only is it just shame, I think from my discovery when working with clients and in my own journey that, I think all of us harbor at the deepest part of ourselves is a sexual shame, a shame about ourselves as sexual beings. Um, and you will all know that I'm a spiritual person. I come from a Christian background, the Catholic faith, although I'm not practicing now. However, I have a great love for the scriptures, and in preparing for this topic, I was thinking about the Garden of Eden. What's the first thing that happens when man separates from God is sexual shame enters in. Uh, they hide their genitals um, in shame. And that's quite pertinent actually for our topic today. So let's dive right in. And if you have any comments or any experience or any thoughts you'd like to share, please do. It really helps others to read about your take on topics and can generate some good discussion too. Okay, so the topic for today is time to talk about what is really the root cause of your present day issues. Shame, but I would like to suggest that ultimately it is sexual shame, bodily shame. So take a moment now, and I'll give you a minute or so to do this, just to ponder this question. What are you doing in your life right now that is causing you to feel shameful or is bringing you shame? Now, whatever that shame is that's come up, the act or the thought or the situation or whatever it is that's come up for you, I'm going to suggest that that's actually your way of both expressing and suppressing the original shame experienced in childhood. The original shame experience that was of a bodily or sexual nature. So the shame act or thought or experience that came up when I asked that question, in some ways, is your way of keeping you in a shame place, keeping you in that shameful experience, but distracting you from it. So it's almost like a cover for the real shame that perhaps many of us don't want to go to. So if you find yourself binge eating or you find yourself in taking drugs or you know, whatever the shame, masturbating or whatever it might be, these things that keep us sort of focused on those as the shameful thing are actually a defense mechanism. They're a cover, but they're also a window into this deeper shame that I hope that we can begin to unpack a little bit today in this video. So why do I say that these things cover um, a deeper shame of a bodily or sexual nature? Well, we're going to go back here to attachment theory, and I'll put it in very layman's terms, because those are the only terms I know. You see, when we are babies, we are so bodily and we are dependent on other bodies. We're dependent on other bodies for love and for an experience of being physically loved. That's our first experience of love, in other words, it's of a physical, bodily nature. That's how the child feels the love, is through these bodily exchanges, the eye contact, the being held, the being fed, all, its bodily needs being met, is how the child first experiences love. In fact, I would say that's the first experience, first sexual experience, is in those early bodily days. So the child feels love through their body first, and they are so vulnerable, they are so naked, but just like in Genesis, they are naked without shame. There's no shame in their genitals or in their body at all. Now, the thing is, and this is the case for most of us, in fact, I would say all of us, there is a moment where that those physical bodily needs are not met somehow. The need for love may experience a moment of inconsistency. So, for example, what am I saying? Um, Perhaps, your parent is depressed, and they're just not always present with you as a vulnerable, naked little baby. Or the parent is not present, they're there some of the time, then you're in somebody else's hands, then mum's on the phone, not able to fully focus on you, or you're being smothered, and the parent is getting their own needs for love met through smothering you. Or, of course, even more detrimental is being seen as a sexual object, as a baby, and being naked. All of these things lead to the baby interpreting being naked without shame as something unsafe. And the baby takes on the belief that their bodily needs are something shameful when the parent doesn't meet them. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say here, and please bear with me, that being vulnerable, the baby learns that it's a shame-based thing at some point. So what happens here is that there's a fall from being naked without shame to being naked with shame. That the desire of this little baby who's naked and just saying, all of me, I'll give you all of me, please love me. Well, not even please love me, they love me, they expect to be loved. When that's not coming back for whatever reason, or it becomes an unsafe thing, then we have the shame entering in, and it becomes a shameful place that somehow myself as a bodily being is something shameful. And this happens, for the little baby. The little baby is highly connected to what's going on around it, and taking in everything. They're in the theta brain state, so they're taking in all these suggestions from their environment about themselves. So what happens thereafter then is that we repeat the same shame experience of bodily love in our future relationships. We replay those moments when our nakedness became shameful. When it became shameful way back, either we replay it, the feeling perhaps of being neglected as a baby when we were naked, we play that out in our relationships, or we replay the feeling of abandonment when we were naked. But even that's not enough. We replay that in our present relationships, or we replay the feeling of being unprotected when we were naked, of being seen or used as a sexual object when we were naked. And we replay these shame moments in the hope that they are somehow going to be healed, that somehow we can be relieved of our shame this time. But of course it doesn't. It only compounds the shame. And what often happens also is that these early experiences of disconnect or loss of connection, or these shame moments, become our fantasies too. Sometimes they're even how we can be aroused now. So we may find ourselves being drawn or attracted to or yearning for those attachment connection needs in a bodily way, because we're still wanting to heal as that little baby. So, hi Daniela. This is a very deep topic, and it's one that will generate different opinions. I'm sure. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say here, and I don't think I'm doing it very eloquently today, what I'm trying to say here is that it is time to let go of that original shame that you have been harboring about yourself as a sexual being. Your desires, your fantasies, your history of acting out, the way it's played out in your life. I want you to start saying, so the heck what? So what? I mean, yeah, so what? This has been your way of trying to repair the deep loss of attachment and love in childhood. And it's no more than that. It really isn't any more than that. Whatever shameful situation you feel you are in, and I don't care what that is. You might be in in limerence, or finding yourself with obsessions for the opposite sex or the same sex, or you may have fantasies about acting out, or there may have been incest in your past. All of this is literally just the crying out of that little inner child, for love, to be naked without shame again. So it's time now to forgive yourself. We spend a lot of time trying to work to forgive those who have hurt us. Well, it's time now to forgive you. It's time to forgive yourself for the symptoms of the multi-generational loss of love in your family system. And to say, so what? This is how it has manifested in me. And you know what? Every single person on the planet has their own shame, their own sexual shame, that they need to work through. And look, this is not to kind of say, oh yes, well you can just go around, do whatever you like and use and a bit. No. You see, what this means is you forgive yourself, and that means that you're then willing to find the real relief from shame, which is to begin loving yourself in a way that is loving to others too, is having is being willing to take responsibility then for changing that pattern, for getting your needs met in healthy ways, not these unhealthy shame-based ones that often run the show behind the scenes. I hope that was helpful to you. I really do believe it's time to just, let go of some of the secrecy and the shame about all of this, and to see it for what it really is. It's the inner child's cry for relief and for love at the end of the day. Thank you, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I may even do another video on this. We'll just see how it goes and what the feedback is. Take care. Bye.